Hey, what's going on, working class hustlers of America and all across the globe? It's your main Horace, also known as La Machine, and my trusty sidekick, the lovely Miss Karen. We're going to get going with you because around here, we respect your mind, your time, most definitely your grind. So we got to get right to work. Watch
Let's
this,
do it.
guys. We're going to do a little bit of sourcing as usual because why? We always want to add value. Now, remember, we're going to go over some things that we always have to keep top of mind. Okay. We're talking about sourcing on Amazon, making money using the arbitrage business model. And to do that, we've got some steps that we need to take. We're going to hammer those steps home. You're going to work with us. If you have questions, you're going to type those into the comments. If you came out to join us, we want to recognize you. In order to do that, you're going to have to give us a thumbs up. You're going to have to give a like. You're going to have to interact. We're set to go for about a half an hour, but you know me, I spoil you. If you interact, if you have questions, we'll go on. So here are the steps, and we're going to continue to go over these. Why? Because we need to hammer them home. All right. We need to pick a software to do the heavy lifting and follow your rabbit trails. That's why you see us right now. You see us right now on the software Tactical Arbitrage, right? That is the software that I use. Otherwise, you're going to have to go item by item, just going to a website like target.com and just kind of searching around. And oh my God, it would be so tedious. Could it be done? Yes, I've done it. But this is the 21st century. All right. So the next thing we want to do is we got to make sure that you can make a profit on the item, right? Because we want to make money. We need to decide whether we want to merchant fulfill or if we want to do FBA. Guys, you probably already know merchant fulfill is you're going to ship the item yourself. FBA, you will send it in and let Amazon do all the work for you. There are pros and cons to each. There are pros and cons to each, so you don't want to get caught up. You want to do the research, all right? Determine if you can sell the product, right? Maybe you can sell it, maybe you can't. If you can't, you move on, okay? But we'll get into that. When I say move on, you're still learning because someday you might be able to sell that product and our minds are so powerful, you will have recollection when that comes again. So, and all that to be said, when you're spending time searching, none of that time is wasted, even if you don't happen to find something that particular time. Check if the product has any restrictions like hazmat, like if you have a way of determining whether or not there have been IP complaints, right? And then you're going to round it out by doing what I call further analysis, right? You want to check the product rank. If you're into it, you can check the product's star rating. How many sellers are on there? Is Amazon on the listing? Uh, what's the pricing? How many sellers you have that are FBA versus how much competition is merchant fulfilled? Is the buy box suppressed? What's the competition stock looking like? And then, of course, you're going to use your charts, your graphs based on the various softwares that you might use. That sound good, Karen?
I like it.
You like it?
I
All
like
right.
it.
So let's jump in. Again, we're looking at the software Tactical Arbitrage. And I got something different for you guys today. So check this out. Today, we're looking at search results. I found three products. We may get to all three of them, we may not. Three products under automotive. Now, I don't talk a lot about automotive, okay? Because, it's not a category that I tend to focus on, but I will tell you this I have sold a fair amount in that category, and it's a popular category. I got a question for you, Karen. Do people like to take care of their cars? Or do we have car enthusiasts out there?
People love their cars almost as much as they love their pets.
Woo! let's get right into it. She just got me excited. Woo! All right. So here's what the first product we're going to look at is. It's called Never Dull. Eagle One car polish, Never Dull wadding metal polish. I don't know what wadding is, but you're lucky if you can get me to wash my car, let alone wax it. So somehow I got a feeling you guys, you're not surprised to learn that. Yeah. So here's what we're looking at, guys. We're looking at the image, we're looking at the name, we're looking at the ounce, as far as the size. We're looking to see, is it one item? Now, one thing you may notice right away, it's got a suppressed buy box. Guys, I love that. Karen, tell them, why do I love a suppressed buy box?
Because the buyer gets to make the decision about who they want to make the purchase from. They're not being fed a particular option by way of the buy box.
Now, the customer may not necessarily like that experience. I think the customer likes to just see a big yellow buy box and just add to cart. So for the customer, having to choose between various third-party sellers, that's probably not something they want to do. But we are sellers. So what happens if there's a buy box? What do sellers tend to do?
Click and it's over. Buy box, click the buy box. That's it.
When it comes to sellers, we're all sellers, and if there's a buy box, then we try to control the buy box. So now,
yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I don't like, because if there's a buy box, now there's something for us to fight over, and when we start fighting, the price tends to go down. We don't want to get any of us
as tanking.
Yes,
price tanking.
We don't want a situation where we can end up with a bunch of people competing, because when they become competitive, the price goes down. Again, that's a great experience for the consumer. That's a great experience for Amazon. Not so good for us, and that's why I like a suppressed buy box. Leave a comment. Whether you're watching now or whether you're watching the replay. What do you think about the buy box? Next thing we want to do is we want to see, we found the product, again, using the software Tactical Arbitrage. And I'm going to show you exactly where we found it, but let's just get right to it. This item is at Home Depot. And from what we can see, the image looks good. It's a 5 ounce and it's $5.78. And let me tell you something else. I do enough sourcing at Home Depot. I have my resellers certificate uploaded with them, did it online, so I don't pay tax. That's huge, guys. If you have your reseller certificate, Home Depot makes it very easy. So does Lowe's too, by the way. Okay. You don't really do any sourcing at Home Depot, do you?
I haven't. I just learned something myself. I didn't realize they would accept the tax certificates.
Yeah, they do. Another thing, excuse me, we have to have a way to be able to tell whether or not you're making money. Now, we do coaching. One of my coaching clients uses a product called ASIN Zen. I actually like it. I've seen it because of the client. I use Inventory Labs feature called Scout. You might use the free. You don't have to have a paid. Amazon equips you with enough. They equip you with enough to figure out if you can make a profit. Right, Karen?
That's right.
Heck, you could use, Amazon gives you what they call the seller app. You probably can't see it because my light's too bright. But they give you an app right on your phone. Let me see if that works now.
There it is. There we can see it.
If I turn it to the side, you can see it.
Right.
But my point is this. They give you the tools. You can figure out right in there whether or not you can make a profit. You're not going to necessarily be spot on. but that's okay. As long as you're in the ballpark, don't get overexcited about it. But what I want to show is using the software that I have, you'll notice there are no FBAs. Now, that could be for a number of reasons. I don't think it's a hazmat item, but it could be. You got plenty of sellers on the item, so I don't know why that would be.
I think it
Now,
might be hazmat, just
just
metal
knowing,
polish.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, and that's okay. Right now, we're looking at it as if we were going to go FBA, but in this software, you could click over, and then you could see it's going to be about the same. I think if it were FBA, we might be looking at about a 25% return on investment, probably more like 20 after you factor in whatever it's going to cost you to get it into the warehouse. uh I do a lot of merchant fulfilled 5 ounces. This item is going to be super light, so I don't see a reason why I couldn't get it out first class. So, you know, but let's take a look at tactical arbitrage. I want to show you guys how did I find this product, okay? Here it is right here. This is the way it looks in the software. So right away I could see the source. I could see again, this is at the time that this search was running, which was it ran all day yesterday. This is where the rank was. This is where the average 90. This is what the price for me would be. This is where it was buy boxing at that moment. This was the average buy box. Estimated monthly sales at 288. Guys, you gotta factor that in. That's a huge deal because if you've got an item that has the volume, then you can justify a lower profit. Okay. The software was showing me a $2 profit and a 35% return on investment. And you can tell we were a little bit lower than that, right? So the software gives you a lot of data to go through, and then you got to go through it. It gives you a lot of things to evaluate, and then you got to do the evaluation. It's not going to do the work for you. It's going to put the work in front of you in an organized fashion, but you got to do the work. Okay. All right. And we got some other items to get to, but before we do that, let's take a moment to see first of all who we got out here. Whoops, hold on a second.
Sheila's here. RV is here.
Oh, let me see here. I don't know what's going on with my software. I see nothing.
You
But
see nothing?
well, I was looking. I have two screens that I look at to kind of see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I see Jim's there. I see Sheila said hi. RV. Can you sell hazmat FBA? Yes.
FBM.
Oh,
FBM.
oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with it is FBA because then Amazon, wants you to be certified or whatever it is that they do.
Which is really easy to do. It is really easy to do. But sometimes if your margins are slim, it might not be the way to go because the shipping on hazmat is different than the shipping. You have to go independently directly to UPS or USPS. Wait,
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Postal Service, right? To ship hazmat as opposed to the partner linked UPS route. So you don't get the discount on
Okay.
shipping.
Honestly, and I just want your take on it because I don't really do hazmat. I have, but if I do it, I'm going to do it FBM. Um, I'm always talking about that degree of separation. What are you going to do that the other sellers are not willing to do? And that gives you that degree of separation. Do you find by doing hazmat, you end up with less competition?
Yes, I think there's less competition, particularly when it comes to FBA
Okay.
with hazmat. But some sellers don't bother with hazmat at all. So FBM, there's usually not a tremendous number of sellers on hazmat items because once it's flagged as hazmat, some sellers just run from the hills. But there's no reason why you can't do it FBM. Technically, with hazmat items, they're supposed to be shipped ground only, and that's going to bump you out of first class and into $7 $8 category
Mhm.
technically, but hey, I won't tell if you won't. And yes,
Oh,
RV, you're right. So you buy your own shipping, not Amazon shipping. But you can do that. You can still get discounted rates on shipping by going through Pirate Ship or Horace. You use what's
I
the
use
discounted?
shipping easy is the one I use,
Okay, so
and
you
I
can still get
absolutely love it.
discounted. Yep.
I've been thinking though, in my mind, I'm sort of playing around with possibly trying out ShipStation. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them, but I've never used them.
And the reason I'm thinking about it is because I think supposedly their claim to fame is that they put all your rates in front of you across the various carriers so that you can really see at a glance who's the cheapest. Because a lot of times, what I end up doing is going to one, putting it in, changing it to another, and then kind of seeing. It would
Oh,
be nice to have it right there in front of me, because
absolutely.
I ship across multiple carriers.
Yeah.
So
When I do FBM or when I do hazmat, I use Pirate Ship and they will show me um, just USPS and UPS. And it will auto populate with the least expensive, but it will tell me how much more it would cost me to ship with the alternative. And that tends to work for me. And then for my everyday shipping, I just use Amazon partnered.
okay. All right. Well, it looks like we've got 9 people out here, and we want to take a moment before we go back in because we're going to go back to work. We want to thank all of you for giving us your time. Um, and if you have any questions, make sure you need to ask us, right? Interrupt us. That's what we want to do. All right. We came there out here for your benefit. So put us to work and let's get to it. Okay, guys, once again, we're going to go over these steps. This is important. So we're going to continue hammering this home, right? Pick the right software. You need to do something to help you out with this. You need to make sure that you can make money on this, right? Decide how you're going to fulfill. That's huge. Logistics. All right. Determine if you are able to sell the product. Check your restrictions. Check your IP complaints and do your further analysis. Product rank, star rating, number of sellers, FBA versus merchant fulfill competition. Is it a buy box? Is it suppressed? Check your competition stock. That's huge. That's huge. If they ain't got no stock, then maybe, just maybe, there's no guarantee, but maybe you can wait them out a bit. That's a strategy, guys. You want the
Right.
price. See, y'all be wanting to get out here and get the money, and you're cheap. You don't want to move the product. Well, what are you basing that on? If you know your competition is running out, then you can sit up there and say, well, I want more money. Okay, if your competition got 50 of them, the next guy's got 80, the next guy's got 30. You better you better adjust that price and fix your face because you ain't gonna get all that big money you thought you was gonna get. That's okay though. That's okay. I'm just trying to get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your money right. All right, let's do this. All right, back to tactical arbitrage. Target. Okay. Here we go again. What are we looking at, guys? We're looking at images. and you can move these columns around so that you can have them right next to you and you can see. See, look at this one right here. Is this the same as this? One of these is not like the other. Isn't that right, Karen?
That is absolutely correct.
So when you see that, don't even click on it. Okay?
Keep
One
it
of these
moving.
is not quite like the other. See,
Keep
I'm
it
showing
moving.
I'm showing my age here. That was the electric company. Y'all don't know nothing about that.
Some of us do, I'm afraid.
All right. So what are we looking at? We're looking at some car wash and wax cleaner by Armor All. Uh, let's see here. Again, we're looking at the source, the rank. This is a higher rank, but guys, when I set up my searches, and maybe we'll do that today, I don't know. I'll go up to 500,000. Okay. Then you can see your average rank is actually lower at 217,000. You should be paying somewhere around 549. Now I'm going to have to pay tax on this because this is Target. Buy box price should be around $21.10. The average is in the pocket at $20.35. But again, we're going into spring. This is going to become more popular. Estimated monthly sales at 13. 97% return on investment. We'll have to see about that. So all you have to do, guys, is click this image to go to the source website, this image to go to Amazon, and that's just one way. There are other links you can click right here. You know what I mean? So when we do that, what do we see? All right, first of all, there it is at Target. There's the price. Now listen, just because you use the software Tactical Arbitrage, it doesn't mean you have to do either retail or online arbitrage. You might be like, hey, you're looking at Target. If they have it at the store, you can go to the store. But when you do, here's the thing, and I want you to weigh in on this, Karen. When you do retail arbitrage, when I do it, I walk into the store. I might have an area that I'm going to go to, and I just start scanning. There have been times where I use tactical arbitrage, and I beelined exactly to the product that I knew they had based on what I had researched. Now, you typically just do what when you do retail arbitrage?
When I do retail arbitrage, I'm making a beeline. I'm doing the same thing as you.
So a lot of times you've already done the research.
Yes.
You're not going into a store and then just let me just start scanning.
Oh no, I that's not for me. No, that's not the way. I'm making a
Some people
beeline.
like. Mm,
But on my way out, first I want to get what I came for. And then
mm-hmm.
after that, then I might, notice what's around. And sometimes I find some real gems I wasn't expecting. I'm going to check the clearance, all the clearance signs in the store. And then I'm probably going to take off after that.
Okay, that's good. See, that's experience, guys. You got to understand. Karen's telling you how she does it. Finish the sentence. Karen is telling you how she does it after 3-4 years experience. You see what I'm saying? You start doing retail arbitrage, you're going to do it your way. You're going to take in what we're saying, apply it, and start figuring out for yourself how you do it. There's no one right way, right?
I've heard of sellers who will pick a section of a store and just scan shelves, just go through. I don't like scanning that much. I don't like scanning like that in a store personally. But hey, if you can stand it, go for it.
See, hustlers, I'm always about finishing the sentence. I need a t-shirt that says finish the sentence. A lot of sellers like to just pick a section, finish the sentence, pick a section and start scanning for 5 hours.
Right. I don't have time like that.
That's the way you're going to do it. It takes time. Would you please tell the working class hustlers how much actual time it takes to do retail arbitrage? It eats eats away at time.
No matter how you do it, it's going to take time. The question is, how do you want to spend your time? So, do you want to spend your time perusing uh, tactical arbitrage and the results it gives you? That's one way. But some people get anxious and don't want to sit at a computer going through clicking and finding that one of these is not like the other. Maybe that's not your thing. Um, I prefer that, quite honestly, to scanning forever in a day in the store. But hey, whatever works for you, and that's the beauty of this business. That's the beauty of
It
this
is
business.
it is a beautiful business, guys. When you have, I'm going to show you some numbers here soon, so stick around because I just like to encourage you in that way. But the power of being able to generate income for yourself. It doesn't mean you have to make enough to quit your job. I haven't quit mine, but an extra $3,000 a month makes a difference in my life. Maybe it would
That's
make a difference
nice.
in yours. Now we got a couple of hustlers that have something they wanted to share. We're going to come to that in a second, and we got a super chat. Thank you so much. We're going to acknowledge you, but let's get back to work for a minute. We're going to finish up on this one product that we're looking at, right? We're looking at some automotive wash. Now, remember, guys, this is 64 ounces. That's big. Okay.
Yeah, that's heavy.
So keep that in mind. I don't run away from those though. I have done them. They're fine as long as I can make the numbers work. But what are we looking at? First of all, you guys see what I love, right? A suppressed buy box. I'm going to scroll down. I don't mind this keeper chart. All I do when I just glance, if I see a lot of velocity, I'm good. Then I hover at the statistics and I look in the far right column with the sales rank, and I'm looking at the bottom where it says how many drops per month. That's fine with me. And because I use tactical arbitrage, if I can get the hummingbird graph to open up, I might even look at that. I don't think that showed on your end, but that's okay. The next thing I want to do is put that in to whatever software I'm using to see if we can make money, right? Now, this is showing, again, no FBAs. So, you know what? Let's go back to tactical arbitrage because it will tell you if there's any hazmat on there. Okay. It says it's not dangerous. But that, I don't know. It could, I don't know why. Here's another thing, guys. This is bringing out some good stuff for you. Now, you go back. Now, pay attention, guys. Where we're back in January, and guess what? There was some FBA, wasn't there, Karen?
There was.
Ha ha,
There
ha
was. There was. There
ha.
was.
So you see what I'm saying, guys? This is what's so important about using the tools. This is what the tools do for you. You can do research and answer the questions because the more information you have, the better decisions you can make. You're not gonna always make the right decisions. Okay. That just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for IBM, it doesn't happen for Apple. So it ain't gonna happen for you every time.
Yeah.
We gonna talk to y'all one day. So you need to stick around. We got so much stuff we need to talk about when it comes to business and mindset. But that's another item. And we're gonna come to one final item. But before we do that, let's take a minute. Let me see. FOA BP 132, who is
132. Hey,
a long time
132.
hustler, says I stick to sourcing items with the buy box in the first 3 quarters. Uh, in Q4, I'll source suppressed buy box, especially on hot toys, because the sales velocity is crazy and customers don't mind the extra clicks. Thank you, thank you, thank you for contributing that. See, that is a working class hustler. We
Yeah.
need your input. We don't have all the answers and we need your perspective. That was an intelligent comment.
132 is talking about strategy, which
Yeah,
is also really a cool, fun thing about this. I mean,
mhm.
that's a strategy that's tried and true for 132. So,
And you know what? You know what he said that lets you know he understands mindset and shopper behavior. He said in Q4 the velocity is crazy, and listen, customers don't mind the extra clicks. Do you realize that's a big thing? One extra click for a customer is a big deal for reasons I may never understand. But that extra click is a big thing to them. Now, if there's no buy box, they have no choice. Or do they? Because there may be another listing, but then they would have to do the extra searching. So, it's six or half a dozen. But I love the fact that you brought out something that deals with buyer behavior. That is huge. Um, Red House says, please explain seller's permit. Karen, can you take that one for me, please?
well, are we? I'm presuming we're talking about tax exempt,
I would
a
assume so,
tax
yeah.
exempt certificate, and
Hmm.
so if you are making purchases, as we are for resale, then each state has calls it something different. Some call it a
Hmm.
certificate, some call it a license, some call it a permit. But you can apply for one of these permits or licenses that will enable you to make purchases tax free for the purpose of reselling them. And when you sell the item, then that's when the tax is paid on that item by the buyer, not by you as the seller. So that's what it is. Yes.
And it's worth it if you're serious. I don't push people towards incorporating. I don't push people towards, filing fictitious name statements and getting all of this stuff, and unless they're serious, because I've seen people do all that stuff. I'm talking make a C corporation and ain't
Yeah.
did no work.
Yeah. I think it may be possible. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, but it may be possible to get one of those permits as a sole proprietor. But I'm not sure. I don't know that you have to be an LLC or an S corp or a C corp in order to
You
qualify.
you don't. If you want
Okay.
a reseller certificate so that you're tax exempt, you can do it as a sole proprietor.
Just Google it in your state, and
Yes.
you'll
Yeah.
find information.
When I was in New Jersey, it was called a mercantile license.
Okay.
So, like you said, every state has their terminology or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. It's worth it if you're serious about this, though.
Mm-hmm.
I you don't. One thing about arbitrage that I love about it, you can get your feet wet and figure out if this is really for you. Just because this works for us doesn't mean this is gonna work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do the work. So,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're serious, it is definitely worth it. I want to see once again. I want to try and show my screen. Now it may not work. It might work. Let me see. Ugh, I'm
Be
horrible with
careful.
this.
Be
Yeah,
careful.
I'm horrible. I can't get this thing to work. Oh, let me try something else. And again, guys, I do that to encourage you because see, okay, now it ain't bright enough. Wait a minute, let me see something.
RV is asking, using tactical arbitrage, isn't everyone getting all the same leads? Then you end up with too many sellers? Nope. Yes, tactical arbitrage is considered the gold standard in terms of sourcing. However, here's the thing: there's over 600 stores that are being sourced that are available to you on tactical arbitrage, and each one of those stores has 5.2 million departments. So you know if everyone tends to want to source from Targets and Walmart and a few of your more common stores. But there are so many other stores and so many departments. There's not, not so many people are really interested in sourcing automotive, whereas everybody sources, not everybody, but a lot of people, a lot more sellers are going to be sourcing health and beauty, for instance. So
Mhm.
it is what you make it, but it doesn't do the work for you. You have to think through sort of what's my best shot.
Yes, and it's a great question. It really is, but you have to understand. You take a guy like me. I've been using tactical arbitrage for years, and what I've found is you're right. There are a lot of people out there sourcing, but you have to understand the behavior of a lot of people. For example, a lot of people are looking, but they want the most popular products. They're not willing to accept a 20% return on investment. No, no, it's got to be a 300% return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That's going to give you a degree of separation.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy doing seven figures a year because he was willing to take a 10% return on the investment. I'm not willing to take that. And maybe that's why I'm not doing seven figures. But then you start using the software, and another phenomenon happens. In the software, you get to look at someone else's store. And instead of going through tactical arbitrage, you just start looking at other people's successful people's stores and looking at what they got. That's called reverse searching. So you got a lot of people that are using the software and they're not even going out here where you're going. They're following other sellers and letting the other sellers do the work. You know, there's all types of things going on out there. But the most important thing you need to realize is it is not going to become oversaturated. It it's not.
No,
And
I
I've
mean,
been out here a long time.
there's certain stores. Horace, I've heard you hear of source. I've heard you talk about sourcing from Boscov's. What in the world is Boscov's? I
Yeah.
don't know. We don't have Boscov's near me, but I certainly can order from them online. Wouldn't know anything about them except
Mhm.
through tactical arbitrage, and everybody doesn't have Boscov's or Cabela's. Who's sourcing from Cabela's? I don't know.
I've done it. I've done it because there was a while where I was doing a lot of sports and outdoors type
Right.
categories, and they sell really well.
So if you look outside the box of, your big box stores, there's endless possibilities, and there is just no way everybody is on everything. And each search, every time you do a search, it's new. Things change on a daily basis. So I wouldn't be worried. That's not the thing I would be worried about with tactical arbitrage at all.
It's a great question, though, and I'm glad you
Yeah.
asked.
It is a great
Uh,
question.
and I've said this many times. RV, what we're trying to do today, and what we always try to do, is equip you with the skills to go out there and source. And once you unlock that, your problem is not going to be saturation. Your problem is going to be you run out of money to your budget will not be able large enough to act on all the deals that you see.
Or
Uh,
time enough to search enough.
there is no way, and I'm directing this at you, RV. Thank you for coming out here. You deserve this. There is no way that I thought with over I don't know how many sellers are there on Amazon now, maybe 3 million, maybe up to 4 million now. There's no way that I thought that there would ever be one product that I controlled. Not not private label, not white label, not manufacturing, arbitrage. And I'm controlling it. And I've done it year after year. It's always one product, you
Can you
know.
tell me what it is so I can get on there too?
I
No,
could
just kidding
tell
you.
you, I
But then
could
you'd have
tell
to
you,
kill
but
me. Okay, okay.
let's take a moment to recognize FOA BP 132 for his generous contribution. We love you for that. We really,
Yeah.
really do. We
Such
don't
a
come
great
out.
supporter. He
It
always
is. We don't come out here for that.
always
The only thing
supports,
we've ever tried
appreciates
to
it.
do was help the
Appreciate it.
hustlers. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I was called to do this. Somebody said, oh yeah, he gave us the donation and he said, thanks for your help and support to make the reseller community uh or thanks for your help and support to the reseller community for over the past 6+ years. You know,
Yeah.
um, I started around Thanksgiving the year 2017, and you know, I'll be honest. I came out here thinking I was going to be this big guru. I was going to rule the world, and it didn't happen. And then I had to make a choice because I ain't making no money. So, am I gonna pivot? I figured out how to make the money. I could take the energy that I'm putting out here, put it into me, be selfish, and be rewarded. I made the decision just to do this because I feel, in a way, it's been a calling. I don't. It's just the joy of helping you. It's one thing I've proven. I'm not gonna go away. I tried and I couldn't. Uh, but it's so great to have someone recognize that and want to give a little bit back. Thank you, because it does take time, effort, energy, and money to do this. Let's see. Any other questions right now? No.
Do you
All
know
right.
Wadani Group? Hi, Wadani Group. That seems to be a new name.
Yeah, he was telling me to fix my light so that I could show my screen. What I was gonna show is today I had 25 units sold. It ain't gonna never act right. But
Can
how
work
many
on it.
sales, how many sales did you have today, Karen?
Well, let's see. My handy dandy seller app is never far away. Today has been an awful day for me. Let me tell you, there
Oh,
is
has it?
just up and down. I have a whole big 10 sales today.
A,
Terrible.
a whopping 10 sales.
Whopping 10 today.
Okay.
So,
You know what? I might have
but the
figured
day
out.
isn't over. And on the West Coast, it's only, 4 something. So
Yeah,
there's
that's
hope.
another thing about it. We're on West Coast time. So I've had 25 sales. Now this is gross. That's 694, almost 700. That's gross. Um,
Ah. Where am I? Let's see. No, I've got too much light too. I can't even figure out where. Oh,
you
I'm
know
blinding everybody.
what I
Okay,
had
it's
to
not
do?
happening.
What I had to do was tilt it either forward or backwards. But
Okay. Yeah,
if
it's not gonna happen.
okay,
But
you
believe
see,
me, it's not a good day so far for me.
but where you see where it says this month I've had 6,346, and we're right at 1 week in this month. So if I could keep it right there, I'd probably do about 25,000. And
Yeah, you're
again, guys,
crushing.
that's just gross. That's I don't get to keep that.
Yeah, you're crushing. I'm
But
not.
I don't think I don't think I could keep up with you. I think you got me. Here's
We'll
the reason
see.
why. When we look, we're gonna look at year to date. Okay, my year to date is, what is that? 48,000. So at that rate, I'm not even gonna do 200,000. I think I'm gonna do about 170, something like that. We got to get that up there
Yeah, but
because
we're
I'm
not
in
in Q4.
competition. I'm in competition with you. I'm taking you out. You got me last year. I hated to use this platform to announce it, but you are my sworn enemy.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm not selling any wolf tickets. I'm staying humble, guys. This guy here
No,
will creep up on you.
no, no.
This guy will
Okay.
creep up on you. Hey, Wadani, thanks for saying hello.
All right. So let's go back. Let's see. Did we? I don't think we looked at this one yet. We looked at this one. All right. So let's go back to inventory. Not inventory. Tactical arbitrage, so that we could see where did I see that product, and it was right here. It's the wait. No, that's a lie, because that's the leather care. We're looking for the extreme wheel and tire. So where was it? Another thing you can do, watch this. If you're using the software, I'm going to take the ASIN from right here. I'm going to come over into the software. I'm going to stick it in there right there. And it should populate. It's not the fastest, but yeah, there it is. And another thing you'll notice, guys, it's giving me, it found the product and it was a target search. And then the software went on to say, well, where else can we get the product? So you can get it at Home Depot and you can get it at this weird Meyer. I don't have that store where I'm at. I don't.
It's around the corner from me.
Well, good for you.
I can walk there. See, but that's why I mean, it doesn't even work for you even though you're looking for it, but it does work for me.
Exactly. So here we go again, guys. We're at Target. Here we go again. What's the sales rank, right? What's the average sales rank? What's your price going to be? Adjusted price would be if you had set your search to account for any discounts, cash back, or whatever. We talk about that, guys. If you want to learn how to use the software, we got links right in the description where you can watch for free the lightning courses, the complete series, all that stuff to teach you this. And you could always connect with me. Okay. So you'll find that number down in the description as well. Again, we're looking at the images, and the images don't always match because manufacturers change their packaging, but we do have to make sure we're looking at the right product, right? Right? Because estimated monthly sales at 40 sounds great. 38% return on investment sounds great. But if you get out there and it's the wrong product, not so great. All right. So this is a 32 ouncer. This is a 32 ouncer. It's the Armor All Extreme Wheel and Tire Cleaner. Extreme Armor All Wheel and Tire Cleaner. It's a suppressed buy box. I like that. I love that keeper chart. Let me see if let's see here. Yeah,
How
about
many how
40.
many sales were there? Did you say, Horace, a month?
Uh
40?
the 41 is what my little hummingbird app is saying. The hummingbird extension comes with the software, but right in the software it says 40.
Okay. And Horace, could you just real quick before you move, can you show us how many sellers are on that right now?
Great question. You could scroll over now. Again, you can move this over. This says that there's a total of three, one FBA and two merchant fulfilled. I think that may have changed.
Okay. So the
Let's
reason
open
why
up.
I'm asking this to respond to RV. So, yes, you find a profitable product. You want to see how many times a month the estimate is that it sells 41 times a month. Now, if in fact it sells 41 times a month or thereabouts and there's only 3 sellers, then you divide 41 by 3 and essentially there's room for everybody to have, approximately what, 13 sales or so, 12, 13 sales per month
Potentially, yes. Mhm.
potentially. So that, but if it sells 41 times a month, and that's not absolute, we can't be sure, but it's a guesstimate. If it sells 41 times a month and there's 20 sellers on it, 30 sellers on it, no matter how profitable it looks, you might not want to go with that one,
You
right?
might
Because
not.
it's saturated, right?
You might not. But then again, remember, one of the things that we wanted to do when we do our further analysis, we want to how many sellers are on it, including Amazon, and then FBA versus merchant fulfilled sellers.
Good
Because
point.
you might only have, you know, one FBA guy and four merchant fulfills. So then, in essence, you're only competing with the FBA
Mm-hmm.
in theory. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that goes on with that. There's almost like an algorithm that
Mm-hmm.
nobody really knows.
Right.
But those are the things that you learn to consider. But as long as we got a question about the process, let's go over it again. Okay. We got our software. We make sure we can make a profit. We decide how we're going to fulfill the orders, merchant fulfill versus FBA. We're going to determine if we're allowed to sell the product. We're going to check the restrictions. We're going to check if there's IP complaints. Then we're going to do further analysis. We're going to look at the rank, the star rating, the number of sellers. Is Amazon on the listing? How many FBA versus merchant fulfilled? Is there a buy box or is that suppressed? How much stock does the competition have? Review your graphs, tools, anything else that you have that's going to help you with your analysis. Okay. Then you wash, rinse, and repeat. And eventually, guys, if you do this long enough, you're going to end up with 5, 10, 15 products that you can sell over and over on a consistent basis. And we call those replens, short for replenishables.
That's right.
And that's how you really build the foundation of your business. Okay. It's like a baseball team. You're not trying to hit a home run. Well, you're trying to hit a home run every time you go up to bat. However, if you look at the teams that win the pennant, they didn't knock the ball out of the park every time they went up to bat. There was
Mm-hmm.
some singles, doubles, there were even some sacrifices along the way. But eventually you get those home runs, you get those grand slams over the course of time. You want to win more
Mm-hmm.
than you lose. And you too can win the pennant of Amazon.
Oh, boy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so back to where we were.
What happened, guys? I don't know. I don't know where we just went, but okay. Okay, Love Machine, it's your show. Do what you want to do.
Okay, so we know we got the right product. We looked over everything. We got to make sure we can make money, right? We came out here to make money. And look at we're gonna actually let's go back and make sure. Let's look at this. 750. A lot of times inventory lab may not be up to date. So we're gonna put it in as if we're going FBA. And again, this is not including any tax that you might have to pay. Excuse me. This is not including any shipping cost. Usually costs me about 30 cents. You're probably going to pay a little more than that. But as Karen will tell you, how much you pay per piece to get these items into the warehouse is going to depend on what?
I don't know what.
She said, I heard her say, the bigger your shipment, the less you pay
Oh,
per
yes.
item to get into
Per
the
item,
warehouse.
that's true. And you know what else I want to say about this horse? You can, if you're using Inventory Lab, I have my back end of Inventory Lab set to
Mhm.
default to 50 cents per pound for shipping. Now, I never pay more than that. Oftentimes I pay less, but it's always reflected there.
Uh-huh.
Are you trying to show us your new cup?
It's not new.
Oh, Oh,
but you see what that say?
La Machine, yes.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
Get
well,
your-
okay, okay. Okay, well, it might be time for us to start wrapping up.
Don't start showing out in front of the working class hustlers. I'm gonna show out with you.
But I hope everybody heard my point. On the back end of Inventory Lab, you have the ability to bake in a cost for shipping, an estimate. You can bake in. I also bake in an estimated storage time, holding costs for FBA. So when I do my research, when I see what the ROI is, it is taken into account 50 cents per pound for shipping to Amazon, as well as for me in my business, I count on 90 days storage and holding. So I want to know if I have to hold this for 90 days, how much is that going to deduct? What would be my ROI if I held for that period of time?
Excellent. Excellent point. Because that has to be factored in. We've got videos where I've shown how much it cost me with that product sitting in there. And if you plan for that ahead of time, now you're thinking like a manager instead of just a hustler. It's great to be a hustler. That's who we are collectively, the working class hustlers.
Mm-hmm.
But to run these businesses, you got to start thinking like a manager, because when you think like a manager, that leads to the behavior of a manager.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a real business. And Sheila, you know what, Sheila? That's exactly what I should have asked some time ago. Do you see what Sheila is saying? I think you're onto something, Sheila. What precisely is in that cup?
I know
Because there have been some digressions in this one that
I know
I'm not sure where we're going with some of this, but you know, might be
excuse
some
me,
holiday cheer or something in there.
excuse me.
Sheila, you know what's up, Sheila. Sheila knows what's up.
So, but no, but no, seriously, guys, we're getting close to wrapping up. But before we do, I want to give any. she's still, she's still cutting up. If anybody had any final questions before we go, please go ahead and pose those now. And before we wrap, I really want to encourage you guys. You may be watching live now, you may be watching the replay. Guys, you know, Karen and I, we've been doing this business for years. We're here to encourage you because you can do this. But the operative word there is do. You've got to do the work. Okay. And if you're willing to do that, it's going to work for you. But you got to be willing to persevere. You've got to realize all these big businesses that you hear about, you know, the ones that you buy stock in because you believe in them, they have to pivot. They have to adjust. Okay. They have to, things change. You know, a lot of times a major frustration when it comes to selling on Amazon is you get on a product and everything's going good for now. And then it doesn't. Now, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to say, this Amazon thing doesn't work? No, you're not willing to pivot. Now, you got to make a choice. Either you're going to be willing to adjust, grow, overcome obstacles, or you're going to go work for a company that's willing to do it. But any business is going to have it. That's part of it. A business does not exist without the challenges, the hardships, the growth, okay, the setbacks. All of that is a part of it. Learn to embrace it. You know, Karen and I had a long conversation. You got to love this, okay?
Yeah,
Because if
you
you're
do.
thinking you're just gonna get, you think this gonna be passive income?
It's not passive at all.
Passive income. That I
Yeah,
love that buzzword.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Ain't no
not
such
passive at all.
thing. Ain't no such thing as passive
You
income.
probably have we probably have a lot more views maybe if you would say, okay, do these 10 things and go to the beach, but it's real work. No, no, not go to the beach. Work, hustle.
I think we got a question.
Yeah, we do, and it's a good one.
Go ahead, take it.
Is it hard to buy? Is it hard to get the buy box selling FBM? So, Horace, you go ahead. You respond to that. You are
Uh,
the king of FBM.
you know what? In my experience, I get my fair share, and I will say that typically in the arbitrage space, a lot of us have taken courses, we've studied from the gurus, and it is commonly told, okay, by going FBA, you're going to get the buy box quicker. I think pre-COVID that might have been true. It's not the same. I get the buy box quite a bit. So, but you have to understand, Amazon is awarding the buy box. So why would they? It's because it's due to multiple factors. For example,
Right.
you may be located to that particular customer that's shopping. Remember, Amazon is tracking that individual customer throughout his entire shopping experience. So
Mm-hmm.
that what I'm telling you is while he's shopping, while he's clicking, while he's reading, he's being tracked. Amazon already know where he is because he has an account. And if you're closer than any of their warehouses or any of the other sellers, there's a good chance you're going to get that sale. And that means if for some reason that customer only sees you, that does happen. Some may argue it's it's out there like Sasquatch, but it does happen. So my
Yeah.
point to you was this: I get the buy box, but you're going to be thinking why. Well, Amazon doesn't tell us that, but it's Amazon that awards the buy box, and they do it for multiple reasons. And one is definitely who can fulfill the order the fastest. Again, Karen and I had a conversation. I went into my Seller Central account and I changed my handling time to a quicker time so that when customers are looking, they see that I can process the order quicker than what I had previously set it at. And all of a sudden, my sales went up. Okay. Now, obviously, if it's a suppressed buy box, then that's a decision that the individual shopper is making. But it would be my guess, it would be my assumption that Amazon is pushing more sales my way because first and foremost is speed when it comes to Amazon.
There's a lot of variables involved, and we don't always know what they are. And, so much of this is trial and error for individual sellers. It may depend somewhat on the category you're selling in, what you're selling, where you're located. I am not the queen of FBM. I do sell some items FBM. I've listed items FBM and then eventually sent them into the warehouse and sold them that way. And I've also pulled things from the warehouse, listed them FBM, and sold them. You can't really know, but what you can know for sure is that FBM does sell just like FBA does, but there's so many variables nobody can really tell you in advance. And La Machine and I are supposed to have a challenge. Um, we've really got to do that, FBM versus FBA, because there's pros and cons to both. And not only are there pros and cons, but we're just curious to see, well, if we sold the identical items at the identical time at the identical price, what would happen? We don't know.
True.
FBM and FBA. One day we're going to get around to it.
One day.
One day.
And I would say, I'm not the king of the buy box. I don't know. That was RV we were addressing. Listen, I even said it earlier in this live stream. I don't care for listings that have a buy box. I prefer the ones that don't. And you see the kind of numbers that I do. Now, Karen is more of an FBA person.
FBA and give me that buy box. I want it.
I'm more merchant fulfilled, and yet we're both doing consistent 6-figure years.
That's right.
Year over year. So it's up to you. And when the challenge that we were going to have had to do with me laying out the pros and cons, as well as Karen laying out her pros and cons. And we're going to let the working class hustlers crown me the winner. But after we do this, because I got you. I'm gonna give y'all. You know what? No, I ain't even going. Anyway.
Yeah, you can't be the king of the buy box in arbitrage, says Dante. I don't say that I own the buy box, but I sure go for it. If it's within, I use a repricer, and my repricer is set to get that buy box because what I choose to do, and everybody can do what they're most comfortable with. Some sellers like to set a price, and hey, their price is their price. They'll wait for everybody to sell out. I will set a range of ROI I'm comfortable with, and then I want it to turn so that I can get my money back plus a little bit more, hopefully a lot more, but I'll take a little and get my money back and get right back out there. So that's a decision that I make. But everybody, there's no right or wrong with this. This is what seems right for you in your business. It's your thing. You do what you want to do.
Now, I have noticed, and Dante, if you're still out here, I'd like to get your take. I have noticed with suppressed buy boxes, the actual price that you can sell the product for tends to be higher. When there's a buy box, now what do us sellers do? Fight over the buy box. When there's a buy box, now you got something for us to try to control. And the only way we really get control is lowering the price. And then that price keeps going down, down, down. Let me know real quick if you're still out there. Did you have a take on that? And in the meantime, I think FOABP 132 says doing this Amazon business is what I refer to as active income.
123, speak truth.
Because Facts. You have to take action
Facts.
To make it work.
Facts. 123. As my kids say, facts. Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I think Dante said bingo. He might concur with
what you just said. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Well, as usual, we've gone over our allotted time. Why? Because we love you. Another reference to my old age, if you didn't get that.
I'm so glad we had this time together.
I know, 2 old farts. But anyway.
Yes, Dante, that suppressed buy box is going to be a higher ROI product. Often if you see the suppressed buy box, you think, oh yeah, I probably can make a nice profit because the price is too high. And that's why Amazon has suppressed the buy box, not giving it to anybody.
You just saying, I'm so glad we had this time together. That's from Carol Burnett. I was talking about the Mickey Mouse Club.
Look.
MICKEYY, because whatever.
Listen,
you got a glass somewhere.
I'm just saying, I'm so glad we had this time together. You know, you're your own person.
No. Go, Pappy, go.
You guys are great.
We love you.
We do.
It's always a
Thank you for
pleasure.
joining us
And again,
and supporting us.
watch the replay if you had any, if you missed any of the steps. If you something may come to your mind later. Oh, I meant to ask this. Ask it. Go in there. Go find the video. Ask it in the comments. We'll respond to that. We're watching. We're checking for you. All right. Check the replay. And again, guys, I told you once. I'll tell you again. If you want to get connected, you can either. Well, you really don't want to go to workingclasshustle.com. You could. That's the website. But that's where you would go if you want to sign up for a course. We do have coaching. There's a waiting list for that, but we do have coach. Well, somebody might be getting out. We just see. but as it stands, there's a waiting list to get coaching. So if you're interested in that, get connected. And other than that, we will see you on the next live. How about it, gang? Nobody else? All right. On behalf of the lovely Miss Karen, I am Horace, also known as La Machine. This is what to sell on Amazon, respecting your mind, your time, and most definitely your grind. We done showed you how to get this paper. It's time to go get mine. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Deuces. Take care.